Namaste, beloveds. This is Valerie Ames, also known as Ocean Nine, also known as Mother with Wisdom. And it's been a while since I've done videos, so bear with me as I get myself back into the groove of it, so to speak, and pay no attention to me fidgeting around and all of this. Um, Pay more attention to the message that is coming through me. Um, it is a very profound message at this time. Um, it's Thanksgiving time. It's after the election. Biden has won. Um, Things are starting to flow in in the will of the people, um, in the will of a larger, greater, more expansive conscious awareness of our own voices, of our own choices, of our own abilities to choose, as our own mirrors of introspection and reflection um, are taking place in this present now moment. And many of us are shedding layers of doubts, of old addictions, of old patterns, of old thought forms, of old ways of identifying and perceiving things from a very limited, hand me down, mama made kind of um, process and procedures. And we are now stepping into, walking into with baby steps, a broader, deeper, more expansive, more nutritious type of conscious awareness, individually and collectively. And we're understanding that, like the Three Musketeers, all for one, one for all, because we are one. Um, I was told to title this um, "How do you make an elephant dainty?" How do you make an elephant feel dainty? And as I sat with that, because that rose up into my consciousness, and elephant is one of my totems. It is one of my ancestral matriarchal totems. Um, she's always ever present. But for her to surface right now and on this particular day, in this particular energy cycle, in the frequency that she wants you to understand the elephant being dainty. And she wants you to think about the vastness of her own body, of how big she is and how heavy she is. And she wants you to think of her being dainty, having to present herself being dainty. And when I say dainty, I want you to, you know, those beautiful white Arabian stallion horses that are prance up and down, that's so cute and so sweet, and or like little itty bitty poodles just prancing around. Just just dainty, or a small ballerina walking on her toes, or a toddler just toddling along. What the analogy of all of this is about, what she's given to me, is we are to explore the dimension now of our own divinity as being not just human beings, not just frail, not just something that's going to die, but something that is vast in its framework, in its size, in its ancestry, in its history, in its form, in its formlessness, in its thoughts, in its memories. Everything that the elephant symbolizes is divine presence of the matriarch, divine presence of the feminine circle, the divine union between the cow and the bull, and the birth of the calf. Because of that union, she wants us to understand that we are divine beings. We are children of God, thus we are gods. We are these elephants, these presences that are bigger than life, so to speak. And so now that we have this understanding of just how vast our body is, of just how vast our ways have been, we're to get comfortable with that body, that huge body, and we're to get dainty with it. We're to learn how to consciously be aware of how to focus it in, how to make the right choices, how to make the right decisions, how to weigh things out when it comes to our own individual needs, and also how to collectively expand our frequency for others so they can also find that frequency within themselves. They can identify that frequency of how to be dainty in their vastness. And the first part of this, like I said, was to conceptualize how vast we are as beings, as creatures, as the sum total of our ancestors. We are the elephants in the room. We are the pink elephant that nobody wants to admit that they see. We are that greatness within and without ourselves, individually and collectively. And that is where we're headed. That's the direction. That's the no need to worry. No need to focus on your size or your shape or your color or your do I belong here, or what does everyone else say about this huge elephant trying to be dainty? We're all trying to be dainty. We're all the elephant trying to be dainty. So understand and understand that that it is time to start accepting who you are in your greatness, in your vastness, and to no longer try to appear to be small, to be stupid, to be ignorant, to be victim and victimized, to be blind and silent and deaf to the cries of the world, the earth herself, the other human beings, the animals, the seen and the unseen. It is time for humanity to realize the charge, to realize the magnitude of responsibility we have, not only to ourselves, but to each other. And, beloveds, it is it's hard. It's hard. It's hard because of the things, the memories, the cellular memories that's encoded in our structure, in our bones, in our hearts, in the cells that make up our hearts, in the cells that make up our other organs. It is very hard to eliminate the programming and the dispositions of depression, of the rat race, of competition, of needing to be accepted and validated and valued based upon another's value system and not your own. We have a lot of expanding to do. We have a lot of conscious awareness to become consciously aware of. And the more we settle into the wisdom of universal laws and allow those laws to guide us, allow those laws to lead us, allow those laws to be incorporated in how we choose to be, how we choose to give, how we choose to receive, how we choose to know, how we choose to love, how we choose to let go of. Become aware of the vastness that is us. We are as vast as the universe because we are made of those elements, those fragments, that wholeness, that order, that system, that knowing, those laws govern us. And we have to, like I said, we have to begin to understand just how great we are and that we can be, each and every one of us, uniquely. We don't have to compete with each other. That is not the point of existence. It's not who can outdo who. That's not the purpose of your design. You were designed with a diversity that is beyond our current ability to fully process. That is why we have punished and persecuted those who seem to be different, those who won't walk the line the way everybody else should walk the line. It is time for us to realize just how vast the concept of God is, and that God cannot be contained in a box, in a religion, in any framework that we come up with. And then the mirror side of that is I'm speaking of myself. That which I am cannot be contained, cannot be labeled, is not limited, and incarnated with intention to expand its own conscious awareness. This is what I am thankful for. It has taken me 55 years to get to this point. It has taken me much heartache, much suffering, many tears, many deaths, many amputations, many psychic surgeries, many recoveries, many healings. But my conscious awareness is at a point where it is realizing, where it has realized, it is looking at itself. In everything that is, was, and will be. And that within itself is humbling and more beautiful than anything, more beautiful than I have the words to even try to put forth a definition or give you some adjectives that would describe what I'm truly understanding within my own self, what I'm processing as an aspect of myself. The greatness, the divinity, the holiness, the light, the vastness, the unlimitedness, the unconditional love, the ability, the vibrancy, the frequencies that are yet to even be born, that are still in the void of waiting to be possible through me, to give birth through me, to incarnate through me as a visionary, as a connected being to conscious awareness. It is not something to take lightly. It is the most precious of gifts to be consciously aware of who you are. means that no one can tell you who you are or who you are not. No one can say, Valerie, um, you're too big to do this. Or Valerie, you're too small to do that. Or Valerie, you're not intelligent enough. Or Valerie, you didn't come from the right family. Or Valerie, you don't have enough money. You don't have the right look. You got a gap in your teeth. Your teeth are crooked. You talk funny. You smell funny. You're different. You mm-mm. No one can tell you those things. You are not even allowed to hear those things from the same place anymore because you've outgrown its effects, its sound, its sense. That doesn't compute anymore because you are now the elephant being dainty. You are now so vast that you can still present yourself in any situation in a dainty form without overwhelming somebody, without knocking over all the chairs, without scaring people, without, oh my God, what are you talking about? There's so many things that so many choices that we have made because we didn't want to reveal how large we were. There's so many choices that we have made, like Alice in Wonderland, drinking that little potion to make herself small so she can fit through those doors and see what's there and see if she belongs there in that diminutive conscious awareness. There's so much that we have within our vastness to discover, but it is going to take the expansion of our conscious awareness for that to happen. And for that to happen, truth has to be a factor in our lives, in our it has to be a choice. It has to be the only choice. It has to be the lens through which we perceive. We have to take responsibility for how large we are. We have to take responsibility for how small we've made ourselves. We have to take responsibility for the ignorance that we've nourished and nurtured and had foisted upon us as well. It's a great time, this Aquarian age. It's a great time for replenishing, restoring, recovering, revaluing, reinventing, regenerating. Our vastness and our conscious awareness of our vastness. So many things are going to need to be changed. The history books, they need to tell the truth. The way we teach our children conscious awareness needs to be wide open to them. And for those of us who are still learning what it is, we need to just let it flow. But we need to be able to be in spaces, sacred spaces, where it is encouraged to flow, where conscious awareness is valued. So you can't be around beings who are not consciously aware of how vast they are, that they are elephants, that they are the universe contained in this body, that they are existence, born and reborn, that their purpose is tied to existence, not to death. And in order to be consciously aware of that, you have to really define what existence is to you. What is existence? What is conscious awareness? What is responsibility? And to whom are you responsible first? To your Creator. To you. And you are in everything, so you are a caretaker of everything. I hope this is all coming out in a way that is clear and concise. Because it is not a topic of philosophical scholars and intellect. It is something that is so, it's like water. It's like air. It's like food. It's like love. It's necessary. It's necessary. And I am going to leave that there. I'm going to get into the political arena just a little bit. And I want you to take note of how often, I want you to take note of the language that is coming from the political arena. I want you to find the contrast. I want you to understand the polarities that are being shown to you at this time and why it is so instrumental in this moment. And I want you to be able to connect the dots with our vastness, with our conscious awareness expanding, and with the way the political frequencies are being received right now. Nothing is coincidence. Everything based upon universal laws is the result of decisions made, is the result of choices made. We can say that was the right choice or we can say that was the wrong choice. Doesn't matter. What matters is the expansion that happens from the choice. Choose to grow. Choose to grow from the experience. Choose to use whatever data surfaced from whatever incident happened because of your choices. Choose to use that and store that as knowledge, as contrast, as a polarity, as ground zero, as a base, home base, second base, third base. Put your life and living in perspective. We all belong to this moment. All the choices that we have made, past, present, and future, are here in this moment. And it is impacted by the vastness and by us being dainty. That is a paradox. A dainty elephant. That's a paradox. If you have, my imagination is such that, like I said, spirit gives me all these images and I am like a child in storyland looking and seeing and just being amazed at how everything is playing itself out, so to speak. And I'm really, for the first time in my life, I can say I'm at a peace of mind, peace of in my emotions, peace in my spirit, even peace in my body. It's getting there with my body because I'm connecting more with my body, my physical body. That's something I haven't done in a very long time. And for me, it is a process. And I am now enjoying the process. So that's where I wanted to go with that. But getting to the politics, understand, beloved, when we speak of Donald Trump, I want you to understand that he too is a child of God. He too is a result of the so-called sins of your father, of his ancestors. He is the sum total of that. And he is the sum total of his choices in understanding and understanding his vastness. And when you need to lie, cheat, bully, that means you don't know how big you are. You don't accept how you've got to prove, you've got something you've got to prove. And you prove it by making yourself look bigger through these things, through these very human things, through human logic. We call it the Napoleon syndrome or Napoleon effect. That you're tiny in stature, so you have to make yourself seem huge. But that to go down that path means you've already accepted that you're small. And it has nothing to do with your stature. It has to do with your character. It has to do with your spirit. It has to do with what cannot be seen. Has no shape, substance, weight, color, smell, taste. You've denied that. And you have to invent something. You have to you have to replicate something that's bigger, that's gigantic and huge and over everything else and that can win and can trump everything. Words trump everything. Nothing is coincidence, not even a name. What are we being shown? Consciously, what are you aware of? What are you seeing? What choices is it helping you to make about yourself, about your character, about the future you want? Can you see Trump being dainty? Can you see Trump being humble? Can you see him being loving unconditionally and being compassionate to himself, with himself, for himself? We choose who we are in any given moment. That choice has consequences based on universal laws. What you put out comes back to you. The law of attraction, the law of magnetism, the law of polarity, so forth and so on. We are so vast and so huge. We need to realize what we do in one moment, what we decide, what we choose, what we discern to see, what we decide to see, what we decide to dismiss or pretend that we can't handle that right now or that we'll deal with that later. It has consequences that affects the past, present, and future. Time is circular and it's happening all at once. I look back on certain points in my life where I made decisions, and my decisions, I won't say they were the wrong ones, but those decisions determined my path. Those decisions determined what was next. Those decisions determined not just what was next for me, but what was next for my children. What was next for my grandchildren? What was next for my mother who had passed already? What was next? What was next? I gave birth to it by my choices, by my decisions, by my knowledge, or by my lack of knowledge. Don't matter. The consequences are born through the decision. That is why we need to be consciously more aware of our choices and our decisions, because we are much greater beings than which we have been taught and told. And it is us who manifests our reality. And that is a great responsibility. But we are great beings. We are children of God. We are consciously aware when we choose to be present. And that is the greatest realization of your gift as existence. And beloveds, again, I am so thankful for the divine intervention of conscious awareness upon us all in the form of Donald Trump, in the form of COVID-19, in the form of existing and non-existence, life and death, love and fear, war and peace. These are vast things. These are vast choices. These are all in the realm of our conscious awareness. And it is up to us now to expand that conscious awareness to and into something that is much more intimate, something that is much more tangible, something that is much more teachable, something that is much more allowing and expansive and integral to our being, knowing, existing, giving and receiving, abundance and lack. I am thankful for Biden. I am thankful for Vice President Kamala Harris. I am thankful for their conscious awareness to put together, to bring together leaders to the table, to the round table of America. Because America is also that elephant that is getting ready to be dainty. She is huge. She is a divine concept. America is a divine concept of freedom, of democracy, of neighbors, of manifesting your dreams into reality. America is a place of service. It's a land of opportunities. And we have been born fortunate enough in this time to help with her expansion. We are her. She is us. She is a part of the earth. She is a part of order. She is part of the universe, the one song. And we must realize that and value that. And understand that our roots are here. And that we are going to reap what we sow. And that if we want abundance, we have to cooperate with the frequency of giving and receiving. This is universal. It is not corporate. It is not political. It is spiritual. It is divine intellect. It is divine design. And again, it is the human consciousness, the human will to exist that must expand beyond its survival instincts that we've been doing for all these millennia, all these centuries. And it is time to return to the conscious awareness that is connected through unconditional love, that pulses throughout the universe, that causes our heart to breathe, to beat, that causes us to breathe. Okay, that is that portion. The next portion is something that I wrote a while ago. I think it was in August. So it was before the election. There were so many things going on. But I want you to, if you need to, stop the video and come back to it when you're ready to be open for what you're getting ready to hear, because this is more esoteric, this is more deeper. There are symbolisms and there are signs and symbols that are getting ready to come to you that you may need to do a little research on to find out exactly what I'm speaking of and why these things came together to make a presentation of information to you to expand your consciousness. It's called The Wisdom of the Bear, the Owl, and the Snake. And I'm just going to read what I wrote. The story of Harriet Tubman, why she is on the $20 bill. And beloveds, I want you to understand why she needs to be on the $20 bill. The number 2, first of all, the number 20, first of all, the representation of the number 10 and the number 1 times 2, okay? The understanding of the bear, the owl, and the snake. All of these represent the spirit of Harriet Tubman. Okay. The wisdom of standing up, the wisdom of seeing in the dark, the wisdom of being reborn, shedding one's skin, the skin you're in, changing skin's growth, expanded consciousness. Asar, one who overcame the dragon, snake, reptilian part of the brain. Osiris was an ambassador. Because of these three spirit totems, and for this he was hated, dismembered, and buried, brings to my mind Khashoggi, the journalist, seeking to get married, going in the building, never coming out whole. Fear is an instinctual reaction to a thought, to a feeling that must be overcome. We fear standing and falling, we fear standing and failing. We must face it. We fear running and falling. We faced it. We feared jumping and falling. We faced it. We feared riding a bike and falling. We faced it. We feared getting on an airplane. We faced it. Fear is the only thing that will own you, master you. If you let it, don't let it. It is your right. It comes from you. It is your shit. It comes from you, not outside of you. That is so deep. Let me just gather some things as they have presented themselves to me. Beloveds, go back to when you were a child, a toddler, a teenager, going for your first job, getting ready to take your first steps, getting ready to talk to that person you liked, getting ready to tell the truth that was going to get you in trouble or get you a whooping. Even though you was telling the truth. Fear. Fear is real. Fear is an instinct. Fear is a conscious awareness of your present, your presence, for your presence, because of your presence, in spite of your presence. We have faced fears that we are not even conscious of. There was fear to walk. There was fear to stand and fall on your butt. And it made you mad and it hurt you and you cried and you didn't understand and you got back up. And you did it again. You faced it. That's what this is saying. Yes, fear exists. And yes, you are entitled to your fear. But you are also bigger than that fear. That fear comes out of you. Don't come at you. Comes out of you. From within you. From within your choices, your decisions, your thoughts, your experiences, your beliefs. As a being, as a person, as a human being. But conscious awareness, that elephant that wants to be dainty, is saying you are bigger than that fear. Find out how to be dainty in that situation and overcome your fear. You overcome it by being dainty. It does not diminish you. Okay. Anxiety. Anxiety sufferers, empower yourself. Stop making yourself small out of habit and consciousness. Habit and conditioning. Anxiety sufferers, empower yourself. Stop making yourself small out of habit and conditioning. So this is saying that to stay in that, to feel the anxiety, it's not a choice. It happens to all of us, just like fear. But to stay in that conscious awareness, in the grip of anxiety, that is a choice. That is a choice. That is a choice that is there by habit and conditioning. It's comfortable to be in that anxious place because it's familiar. You've had it. You've carried it. You know the weight of it. You know the depth of it. You know the breadth of it. You know the height of it. You know the smell of it. You know it intimately. Anxiety is the friend you don't want. It's the hanger on. It's the afterthought. Anxiety says you're small. Anxiety is there to reduce your vastness, your conscious awareness of who you are as a being, as a child of God. It limits you. Oh, be scared of this. Oh, this gonna. What if that happens? What if this? And oh my God, we are conditioned by the music. We are conditioned by the movies. We are conditioned by the TVs. We are conditioned by the Jerry Springer and the drama and the reality shows with scripts and people who get paid to be on TV with people filming them to keep you small. Empower yourself and understand that when you get anxious, take control. Don't let the anxiety, don't let the worry, don't let the fear take control of you. Get your control back. Get it back with breathing. Get it back with redirecting your thoughts. Get it back with speaking, whether out loud or inside to yourself, for it to sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. That it doesn't know what it's talking about. And that we are bigger than that. And we are more powerful than that. Stop limiting me, anxiety. Stop trying to whoop my ass. Stop trying to scare me. Stop taking my voice. Stop telling me how to act. The older, the crone, the ripe, juicy, aged, like wine, alcohol, and cheese. It's an expensive taste, not the young, picked before its time and tart. What is it? What is that saying? That's simply saying, beloveds, that as children, we rush to get old. We don't know why. And as we get older, we are conditioned to wish that we were young. Why? Because with that title of elder comes an expansion of conscious awareness. You now have a responsibility to expand even wider, to be a wider, deeper receptacle of information, of knowledge, of wisdom, of unconditional love, of patience, of answers, of solutions. Not only for yourself, but for each other, because we are all one. That's why they like children. That's why the skinny over the voluptuous hips and breasts and belly and thighs of a mother, a mature woman that knows her body, not a child that does not. Throwing seeds, it is what it is. And when I say throwing seeds, it is what it is. Like I said, this was written several months ago, but what comes to mind is the saying, have the faith of a mustard seed, I believe it is. The smallest of seeds, but it grows the biggest of trees. Again, the elephant being dainty. It is not about the size, beloveds. It is about the conscious awareness and the understanding and knowing that conscious awareness is meant to expand. It's meant to be the biggest thing in the room. It's meant to be the biggest thing outside the room. It has no limits. It has no beginning and it has no ending. And you are part of that. You are a unique expression of that vastness, of that hugeness, of that bigness, of that elephantness. And with that, you need to become dainty with it. You need to be able to access it and use it in no matter what situation is at hand. Be dainty with it. Be dignified with it. Be high-stepping with it. Be beautiful with it. Be calm with it. Be intimate with it. Be old with it. And that, beloveds, is that portion of the video. And that was that was a long video. That's an hour. Okay. I'm gonna do the next video, and it's going to be the tarot cards that go with this reading. And again, beloveds, you know I don't read tarot cards like the regular tarot readers who read them in certain fashion and order that's been handed down for years. I read them the way Spirit taught me to read them, just by looking at the pictures and not so much about what order they're in, or if they're upright or reversed, or um, in different positions of the cards, in the sequences, and so forth and so on. So my readings are different when it comes to that. My readings are more intuitive. I let the cards just speak as if they were their own thoughts that were chosen. If I'm reading the book about that particular card, I'm giving you what the author says and is the description of that card. So this is basically like reaching into a pool with stones at the bottom and picking up that stone, whatever one you choose, and letting that stone speak to you. So that's where I'm going with this. Um, and so I'm going to stop this video and I'll begin the next one. Thank you, beloveds, again. Namaste, and thank you so much. And I missed doing these videos, and I will be doing more of them. I can feel them coming. So um, stay tuned. Okay, thank you.